Well, Sean, so Kevin Stefanski. So now we have moved on from John DeFilippo, and now we are in the Kevin Stefanski era. That officially started yesterday. And so Kevin Stefanski, we know that is someone in-house. He's been with the team for several years, held different coaching positions, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks coach. But the one thing I like about Kevin Stefanski is the fact that he brings a little bit of continuity, that continuity that we needed from the Pat Shurmur time.
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski did interview for the offensive coordinator job back in February, along with John DeFilippo. And at that time, Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman decided to go with John DeFilippo. And Kevin Stefanski was actually asked by Pat Shurmur to fly to New York and interview for the offensive coordinator there, to which Mike Zimmer pretty much, blocked that whole interview process.
Yeah.
So it is a welcome change. I think it's, I don't know, he's going to completely switch to a Pat Shurmur playbook. I don't think that's possible because of the fact that Kirk Cousins was not around last year.
Yeah.
But I do believe that he's going to incorporate maybe some nice things as, moving Kirk Cousins maybe a little bit more out of the pocket. I mean, Kevin Stefanski is not going to resolve the problem of having a below par offensive line.
Yeah.
He can't do anything about that, but at least he can design play calling to be one that Cousins doesn't feel like he needs to sit in the pocket, because without offensive line, I mean, it's too much to ask from Kirk to sit in that pocket and be able to not get nervous, to not panic, and to be able to go through his progressions and reads. I just think that in that particular situation, those are the changes or the big difference that we might see from Stefanski in the play call.
Yeah, I agree with that. And one other thing we got to look at is kind of the mental aspect of having a guy come in that everybody knows. This guy has seen everybody come up from Adam Thielen to where he came in as a practice squad player and came up to be one of the best receivers in the league. Stephon Diggs being a late round pick and coming up to being also one of the better receivers in the league, along with other guys on the team with Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris and Everson Griffin, a bunch of guys. So he's really well connected with these players on this team, not just on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end. And you hear a lot of fans talk about, we want the hot, new, young offensive guru guy. Well, name other than Sean McVay where it really panned out. Kyle Shanahan, you can kind of somewhat say, but he was in and out, or he was doing coordinator positions in and out of the league everywhere for a while. So Sean McVay kind of came out of nowhere. He was coaching Kirk Cousins in Washington for a while as their offensive coordinator before he got hired by the Rams. But don't get caught up in the whole we need a young offensive guru. But if you do want him, well, here's your chance. The guy's 36 years old. He's been with the Vikings organization for a long time. His dad is actually, I believe, the GM of the Detroit Pistons. So he's been in a sports family his whole life. So he's been around it. He knows this team. And I think that's going to benefit him. And one thing, teams don't have tape on what he's going to be running. So we're going to be running things similar to DeFilippo's system because it's so late in the season. You can't go in there and just throw a whole new offensive playbook on the table and expect everybody to pick it up and know it in a week or two. So I think we're still going to be having a lot of similarities with the DeFilippo playbook, but you're going to be seeing tweaks here and there. Just like you said, Kirk Cousins outside of the pocket on the rollout a lot more, which he's been effective with for the whole season, but we just haven't used it enough, it seems like. And I also think we're going to get a lot more read options. I really do. And I think we should. The times that we have run it, we've actually gained good amount of yardage. So I think you're going to be seeing some read options. You're going to be seeing a lot of bubble screens. You're going to be seeing things like this. But what I really want to see is defenses know. They're going to double team Thielen and Diggs, and they're going to say, hey, Rudolph's got to beat me. Treadwell or Robinson's got to beat me. and Dalvin Cook's got to beat me. Well, guess what? Those guys got to win. Our guys got to win, but we also got to draw up a good enough offensive scheme to get those guys in better positions to be successful on the field. And I think Stefanski knows these players. He knows Kyle Rudolph. He knows Dalvin Cook. He's coached them. He's coached their positions. He knows their strengths. So I think that's going to benefit him in the play calling and saying, okay, Kyle Rudolph, we need to get him out of more vertical routes. Get him just throw the ball up. We've seen him come down multiple times with the ball and making ridiculous catches. So give him the opportunity to. So I think Stefanski is going to be very, very good for this Vikings offense. And may not be this week. It should be this week when we get into the Dolphins preview. We're going to deep dive into that. But I wouldn't be surprised. Don't be surprised if he comes out here and this offense looks like a completely different offense.
You know, I just want to add a couple of things to what you said. I think last year our team had a very good synergy. I think the whole season went on with Case Keenum and you know, everybody just kind of working as a team. And I think we did lose a little bit of that, you know, with the new coordinator coming from out of town, the Eagles. You know, the Eagles is the team that we lost to last year. And then Kirk Cousins coming from a different team. So I think there were some new pieces that came in that maybe kind of threw that synergy out of balance a little bit. And I think Kevin Stefanski is going to help a lot from that standpoint. And don't be surprised if you maybe see a little more of Brandon Silstra under Kevin Stefanski.
Oh, okay. Nice little tidbit right there. I'd actually like to see that. BB hasn't been healthy, so he hasn't been able to get out there. But no, I'm really looking forward to see what Stefanski has for this offense, and I'm thinking it's going to be positive. Definitely going to be positive. So regardless of what happens at the end of this year, this is pretty much a 3-game interview for the offensive coordinator position next year. And hopefully he passes with flying colors and we get in these playoffs. And who knows? All you got to do is get into the playoffs. Who knows what happens there? Nick Foles was Super Bowl MVP last year. So you never know.